What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Game Show. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? It is time once more for the weekly show. This is episode 160. Alright, well, I've been sitting here for the last 20-30 minutes trying to get this intro just right, where I didn't just evolve into a giant rambly mess. So I'm just going to try and hit the main points. If you're new to the program, basically what we do, we sit here, we talk about video game news and other stuff. Sometimes, mostly we read articles. There we go. And we'll watch, we watch a couple videos. I think I got a little bit of Call of Duty multiplayer that we're going to be watching at the end of the show tonight. Other than that, links to every article and video will be down in the description below. You can also find timestamps down there of when each article is hit in the video, so you can kind of skip around if maybe one topic doesn't grab you or anything like that. If you can still tell, I'm still a little sick. If I still sound a little congested, it's because I am. So, any time that you might hear me maybe sniff or cough off camera or, away from my mic, I do apologize for that. Like that. I'll try and keep it to a minimum. But I am getting better. I'm almost, whatever. I've got the next couple days off, so videos should be coming up at a pretty good clip, unlike last week where I was really sick, so sorry about that. And I think the final thing is it's Thursday off, so which leads into Friday at midnight, so I can play Fire Emblem Three Houses and Wolfenstein Youngblood at lunch. So both of those videos won't have to wait till later in the day on Friday. I can actually get those up early Friday morning. So I think that's all of it. So let's actually hop into the news. Hopefully that was quick enough. Starting off, apparently Microsoft sees a big dip in gaming revenue, but don't blame the PC. Article on PC Gamer. Microsoft has been making a concerted effort towards PC gaming with things like Game Bar in Windows 10 and the DirectX Ray Tracing DXR API. And I have no idea what that is. And that's all been well and good. Despite it all, however, the company reported a drop in gaming revenue over the past year. It's the only area that Microsoft saw a decline as it tallied up the numbers. What gives? Don't blame the PC. Coming off the fourth quarter for its fiscal 2019 period, Microsoft noted a 10%, that is $233 million year-over-year decline in gaming revenue and a 3% drop in Xbox software and services. Every other sector saw an uptick in revenue, with most of Microsoft's various businesses posting double-digit percentage gains. Now, look, I'm not surprised it's not PC that's getting hurt when it comes to Microsoft's revenue. I'm not. I'm actually. It makes perfect sense to me that PC is actually doing way better than Xbox, and I'll tell you why. It's because I think so many. I've heard the reasoning that, or I've heard people say, "Oh, well, Microsoft probably makes about the same as Sony because you can't just take Xbox. You also have to include PC." And I've sat and gone, I don't think that's true. I do not. I think Sony ends up coming out ahead. And look, I'm saying this, and this is just what makes sense to me. I don't actually have the Sony numbers. I don't. Who knows? Maybe I'm completely off here. But just the way it looks to me is because I see people as going into the console camp and the PC camp. Look, I play some stuff on PC. I have a gaming PC. I'll play stuff like XCOM, Total War. I'll play Troubleshooter. Games that I feel like actually work better with a mouse. I will use those. But if I'm going to play an action game, if I'm going to play, for the majority of games I play, I'm going to play on console. I'm a console guy. From when I was born to when I die, I'm going to be a console guy. That's what I am. And honestly, if I could only have one of the consoles, I'm going to pick a PS4. Because frankly, Xbox doesn't have the exclusives that PS4 has. It's overall, I think the PS4 has a better controller. I think it has a better UI just in its main menu. I've gone over this over and over and over. I think the PS4, just as a console, beats the living shit out of the Xbox. So whether or not PC does really well, I kind of see that as it's still gaming, but it's a different sector of the market. It's going to, because people who are going to buy a PC aren't going to buy an Xbox, generally. They're probably just going to have a PC. Sometimes they'll buy both. Sometimes people like me who will have all three. I'm not saying there's not crossover. What I'm saying is people who are ardently in the PC camp aren't going to have a console. So Microsoft does make that money, but it's I'm trying to think how best to kind of like all tie this together. Sony focused its gaming effort into the PS4. Granted, it also had the Vita, but the Vita's pretty much dead now, and that's sad. But it's thrown all of its work into the PS4. Microsoft has to split its focus between the PC and the Xbox. Well, the PC's been doing well. The Xbox has been a giant lead weight holding them back. That's why I think Sony edges out ahead. It's because there's nothing holding back the PlayStation. There's not another product that you're sinking money into that's pulling you back. I think Sony's actually pulling forward. Unlike the Xbox, which I think has fallen behind, even both PC and PlayStation. I mean, there's multiple reasons. Just go watch my I'm pretty sure I went to a rant on it, talking about at the Microsoft E3 conference. It's just, I think Microsoft, or let me rephrase. I think Xbox has really just been run terribly the last couple of years. It seems like every exclusive is a small, tiny project. Stuff like Sea of Thieves, which came out and died. Stuff like State of Decay 2, which is still a niche game. And like, oh, we're getting ready for Ori and the Blind Forest 2. Okay, that's cool, but that's not going to sell consoles against stuff that Sony has. Again, I've gone into this time after time. Marvel Spider-Man, which actually is now the highest selling superhero game of all time. Actually, we have an article later today about that. They've got God of War. They have the Yakuza games. They have Detroit Become Human. Come on, The Last of Us Part 2. Is Death Stranding going to be? I think Death Stranding's a PlayStation exclusive. Sorry about that. Sorry. Ghost of Tsushima. There's tons of PlayStation exclusives out there that push me towards the PlayStation, and Xbox really it's just a weight. I don't get a whole hell of a lot of use out of my Xbox if it's not for the channel. I mean, I think the only thing that I really play on my Xbox is The Sims, and even then, now that I have a job, I'm thinking about just buying it on PC and just playing it there, because it's probably easier to play than on the controller. I just do not think that Microsoft has done a good job selling me on the Xbox and selling a lot of people on the Xbox, and I think holding them down as a whole. Now, this is going to sound weird, because I understand it's a term of don't throw good money after bad money. I think that's the expression. In a way, I think you do need to throw in more money to the Xbox, but I think it's in exclusives. It's in not even the hardware. I think it's just getting your studios to develop good exclusives and reasons to buy the Xbox, because Xbox has not been sold to me as a gamer. It's sold to people like my boss when I worked in radio. He was a great guy, but his whole thing was, oh, I love it because I can watch football and I can do this. He uses it as an entertainment system, not a gaming system. I mean, he played video games, but you get what I'm saying. He uses an overall entertainment system. That's when I think the Xbox is at its best. I'm kind of ranting here and getting into a kind of like a weird side portion of this. Again, my theory is they do need to put some money into the Xbox, but more into the studios to create exclusives that are going to take off for Xbox. Because the problem is Xbox, really with their exclusives game, have just clung to Halo, Gears of War. As much as I love Gears of War, it's not what it once was. Halo, I'm going to be honest, I don't think that sells consoles like it used to. It's nowhere near what it used to, because I saw the new trailer for this one. I'm just, I just don't care. I really want them to see them come out and develop some new IPs that people can latch onto. I don't know. I'm sorry. I went to a rant there. I was going to try not to do that, but I did it anyways, I guess. Excuse me. Sorry about that. As it pertains to gaming, the biggest culprit of the company's is the company's Xbox console. Xbox hardware revenue dropped a whopping 48%, quote, primarily due to a decrease in volume of consoles sold, end quote. Microsoft didn't provide any context for the slide in console sales, but the trend is not likely to reverse until the next hardware iteration, codenamed Project Scarlet. Both Microsoft and Sony are prepping next-gen consoles for a 2020 release, each of which will be powered by a custom AMD Zen 2 CPU and Navi GPU. Man, I'm still not sure how I feel exactly about the Project Scarlet. Look, I I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to get it. I'm sure it'll be, a functioning console. But again, my question is Sony going to drop the ball like they did from the PS2 to the PS3? Are they going to make something that's like wicked expensive and just complicated? I don't want to say the PS3 was complicated to use, but I think the Xbox was simpler, it was sleeker, and there's a reason for the beginning of the console generation, that time that it won. I mean, granted, the PS3 won out in the end, but, well, technically the Wii U won out, or the Wii won out, but you know what I'm talking about. No, I think if Sony really keeps up what they're doing and focus on games and just the simplicity, I think the Sony's PS5 is going to just absolutely crush Scarlet. I really do, unless Xbox has a gigantic shift in priorities. But again, that's mindless speculation there. Due to this, Microsoft is likely undeterred by the drop. It was not that long ago when Microsoft said it was, quote, pursuing an expansive opportunity in gaming, end quote. I fucking hate those buzzword phrases. It's not necessarily because they're buzzwords. I mean, you can like them, you can hate them, whatever. But my problem with that expression, it's because it's this trying to shift the idea of gaming. It's like what VR was going to do, this new streaming idea. It's this. It's excuse me, sorry. It always seems like we're trying to force this industry to change, but it always comes right back to playing with a controller in my hand. I mean, maybe not sliding a disc into my console anymore, but you know what I'm saying? It's always back to me sitting at my desk, just playing a game. I don't need a headset on. I don't need to move around and my body be the controller, man. I don't need to play the new Doom on my phone. I just want a controller, my TV, my headset, and the rest of the world to just kind of slip away and just let me just kind of relax my own way. It's this idea that I think that there's, gaming needs to change. It needs to. No, it doesn't. I think it's actually in a great place right now. So it's a weird pet peeve of mine. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Both in terms of creation, distribution, how games are played and viewed, blah blah blah. Xbox, and I quote, Xbox Live now has 57 million monthly active users, and we are investing in new services like Mixer, which blurs the lines between watching and playing, and Game Pass, our new unlimited subscription service. The addition of 5 new gaming studios this year bolsters our first-party content development to support our fast-growing game services, and our acquisition to PlayFab accelerates our vision to build a world-class cloud platform for the gaming industry across mobile, PC, and console, end quote. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said in October 2018. Again, I went into the whole cloud service thing. I still think is annoying. I think it's overly confusing, whatever. Yeah, and again, I stand by what I said about we have 5 new gaming studios. What the hell are they doing? What are their projects? Tell us this, because apparently, every year Xbox's conference keeps getting focused on tech ends and, the tech end of the industry and this, that we don't, or it's showing, here's this new little indie game, here's this tiny project. There's no real big meat. Where is Fable 4? That's the crux of what I'm saying. I'm serious. I just want Fable 4, man. Since the number of Xbox Live subscriptions has grown to 65 million, meanwhile, Microsoft's PC revenue increased 468 million, which is a modest 4% jump. Windows revenue went up 7%, driven by healthy Windows 10 demand, end quote. That said, Microsoft did not post an update on the number of active Windows 10 installations in the wild back in March. However, Microsoft's corporate vice president of Modern Life and Devices, Yusuf Mehdi, tweeted that Windows 10 had reached 800 million devices, quote, and the highest customer satisfaction in the history of Windows, end quote. Assuming the number still stands at 800 million, Microsoft is 200 million short of that 1 billion goal it set for Windows 10 within the first 2-3 years. Following its release in 2015, it will likely get there, even if it takes twice as long as Microsoft had originally anticipated. Quick edit to the article. The article originally attributed a quote from Satya Nadella as being current, but his statement was made in October of 2018. This has been corrected. All right. No, I think I made my points pretty clear. I think it's spot on to blame Xbox for why revenues dropped at Microsoft, and I think it's easily fixed. I really do. I think it's focused less on the tech, focused less on cloud streaming and this and Mixer and all these other ancillary crap. Do what Sony does. Do what Sony's been doing, which I think has really been kicking the shit out of everyone, which was, let's focus on games and make good shit. I think that's the easiest way to explain it, but whatever. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe I'm being too simplistic, but whatever. I've focused enough here. Let's move on. All right. Up next, we got an article in Game Informer by Imran Khan. Marvel's Spider-Man is now the best-selling superhero game ever. I made mention to this in the last article, but actually, congratulations to Insomniac. I mean, they made one hell of a game with Spider-Man. I mean, that was a fantastic game. I think I scored it 9 out of 10, personally. The only reason I kind of dropped at that point was because I think there was bits and pieces of that game just always kind of felt like it just... I'm trying to... My issue was with the narrative, because I feel like bits and pieces of it just went nowhere. There was always something just missing in it to me. If you want a more detailed reasoning, go to the end of my Let's Play for the series. But it missed. It just kind of lacked that certain something to me for it to be a 10 out of 10. It's hard. It's kind of hard to explain. I said the same thing about Days Gone. Although I think that's a more interesting case study because I don't know. I'm writing a review for it right now. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I want to word some shit. So, keep checking the website if you want to see my exact opinions on Days Gone too. But for Spider-Man was an interesting. It was a really well done game in the at the end of the day, it was a great game. Ignore whatever the hell I was talking about. Sorry, this is what happens when I get lost in my brain. Let's actually get into this article before I start talking about, I don't know, something else. In my youth, I remember superhero games being a bit of a gamble. You could end up with a Superman game where he dies to gunshots, or a terrible side-scrolling brawler based on Batman Forever, or maybe a surprisingly decent Capcom-developed X-Men game. Nowadays, the bar has raised a bit, thanks to games like Rocksteady's Arkham series, which were by far the most successful superhero games in terms of sales, at least until now. Just had a San Diego Comic-Con superhero panels today. Jeez, I can't speak. MPD analyst Matt Piscatella, well, that's correct, shared data of the best-selling superhero games in the United States. While we have long known that Marvel's Spider-Man, the PS4 exclusive collaboration between Marvel Games and Sony, and developed by Insomniac, is one of the fastest-selling superhero titles ever, and is also known as the best-selling one. Peter Parker has officially leapfrogged over his nearest competitor. Batman's Arkham City is right here. You can see it's Spider-Man, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Lego Batman, other Lego crap, Spider-Man the movie, and Spider-Man the movie 2. Really? Both of those were Activision Blizzard. Huh. Then we got Justice, Arkham Asylum, and then Injustice 2 of the top 10. Most of those involving Batman. Arkham City, the follow-up to the critically successful Arkham Asylum, was released in 2011 on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. Sequel took Batman into the open world and let Batman fly around a condemned prisoner island, beating up thugs and solving mysteries. Sony had been particularly proud of Spider-Man's critical and sales performance in the year since its release on PlayStation 4. Sony's has even used Spider-Man as their specific example of how game performance will improve on the next PlayStation console. Right, that's how they showed the new Spider-Man game load up on a PS4 and on a PS5, and the PS5 did a load screen in under a second. I think that's what the thing was, but no, I really love the Spider-Man game, and hats off to Insomniac. I absolutely love the studio, and I'm really glad that they're being recognized for that. But dear God, guys, make a sequel to Sunset Overdrive. I understand that's probably on Microsoft's, that ball's in Microsoft's court, but still, come on, I want it. Really, I mean, this is going to be kind of like a little quick hitting article, but I did want to make mention because I did see that gameplay leaked from the upcoming Avengers game. Leaked gameplay came out of out of Comic-Con, and I was scrolling through YouTube saying like, can I find like a good video of it, one that's not like shot from an iPhone? And the answer was no. and or from a channel that I can, no, I'm not going to get copyright struck or anything on. Sorry about that. Excuse me. My other question was, I guess kind of like a secondary question that was kind of in the back of my mind. But as I'm scrolling through, I was not really impressed with what we saw at E3. I'm going to be entirely honest. It just didn't really grab me at E3. And you know what? Apparently a lot of people are saying the leaked gameplay wasn't that good. It was just boring. It was meh. I'm not sure what that's going to be for the full game. I'm going to hold my exact thoughts until I actually see gameplay, like really see a chunk of gameplay. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe things aren't looking that good for Marvel's The Avengers. But either way, all right, we're going to move on to our next article. All right, guys, on to an interesting article I saw. I think a couple days ago I posted just in this headline. I don't understand what the hell is going on, so I thought we'd read this article together and we'd come up with some answers here. Apparently, Farming Simulator. This is also on this is on PC Gamer. Apparently, Farming Simulator's first esports season is going to kick off at FarmCon. Okay, well, 1, FarmCon is a thing. 2, how the hell is Farming Simulator going to have an esports season? How the flip does this work? Article by Ian Boudreau. Hopefully that's correct. As I said, PC Gamer. This is a short article, but let's see what we can get here. The inaugural season of Farming Simulator League will get underway later this month at FarmCon, which this year will be held at the CLAAS Technopark. Is that correct? In Harsewinkel? I have no idea. I speak a little German. I should be able to pronounce that. Either way, in Germany. The convention will be held July 27th and 28th and play host to the league's first official tournament with an 11,000... Not euro. These are things I should know, but me being an American, no, I don't. Either way, 11,000 money prize pool. There we go. You'll be able to watch the whole thing live, too. The competitive farming will broadcast on Twitch on the Giant Software and Focus Home interactive channels. Jesus Christ. Okay, I gotta watch this. I've got to see what the hell this is. The tournament will feature a mix of teams from the player community squaring off against teams sponsored by official equipment manufacturers, including Komatsu Forest and Trelleborg. Even having lived around farms for most of my life, I have a hard time visualizing competitive farm simulation, but the Farming Simulator League has a prize pool worth $250,000 money, which indicates a certain amount of momentum. You can get a handle the basics league introduction video above. Head over to you know what, screw it. We gotta check this out. We gotta see what the hell this is.
Hello and welcome to the FSL introduction video. In the next few minutes, we will go over the different types of teams and how to gain those sweet, juicy circuit points and, of course, the prizes. Every FSL team consists of 3 players. One of them will have to step up as the captain. You can add up to 2 additional players, 1 coach and 1 substitute. Any team of 3 can sign up to be a wildcard team. So grab your 2 best playing buddies and head on over to our website to become one of them.
I have so many questions already. The biggest one is, how do you compete against somebody else in Farming Simulator? Like, is it who can make the most money? Who gets the most crops? Is it who has the best crops? I don't understand what the fuck is happening.
The Farming Simulator League will consist of 2 different types of teams. First of all, there are the seeded teams. These teams are a fixed part of the FSL and therefore will always start in the best of 8 section of each tournament. As a wildcard team, you'll start in stage 1 of the tournaments. This means you will have to play to earn a spot on the best of 8 stage. But we will get more into detail on how the tournament works later in this video. The amount of wildcard teams that qualify for the play-ins varies from tournament to tournament, so you better keep an eye on our website for details. This is how the tournament works. The first stage are the wildcard qualifiers. Here is where all the wildcard teams will face each other to qualify for the play-ins. If a wildcard team manages to qualify for the play-ins, they will then have to go up against one of the seeded teams. These teams are the final bosses of your journey to the loot. Beat them in a winner-takes-it-all, best-of-one match, and you are qualified for the finals. Lose and you are out. Once the play-ins have concluded, the event tournaments begin. If a team made it to this stage...
They're still not answering my question of how do these matches work? How do you win? Is there an element of Farming Simulator that it's an extremely like competitive multiplayer game that I'm not understanding? Somebody help me, I'm about to have a fucking stroke because of this.
Then they are guaranteed to earn some circuit points and a share of the €12,000 prize pool.
Okay, it is euro.
Every single tournament. Yeah, that's right. Make it to the finals and get that sweet, sweet loot. You might be asking yourself what these circuit points are. Calm down, little fella.
I'm more asking how these games are played.
These naughty boys will determine your standing in the league. Make it to the top 16 at the end of the season, and you will qualify for the World Championship. Sounds good? Then head on over to fsl.giants-software.com and sign up to fight for the title and €250,000 in prizes. Create your team today. We promise it will be legend. Wait for it.
Oh God. All right, well, give me a quick second while I go vomit. I am so very confused right now. I thought maybe we could get some articles if we read this, but you know what? I have more questions now. Yes, I included this because I thought it would be funny and it would be a nice thing to get a laugh at, especially after we had that serious topic at the start, but also I was kind of low on news stories this week, but the actual fuck is that? If somebody can explain this to me, please. I want to know how multiplayer in Farming Simulator works, I guess, and how this can be made competitive. I guess that's my biggest question. But whatever. I'm gonna move on. I think it's Cyberpunk stuff up next. Okay, moving on to our next article. CD Projekt Red talks about Cyberpunk 2077 role-playing options and life paths. Article Andy Chalk of PC Gamer. I love talking CD Projekt and Cyberpunk 2077. I cannot wait for this game. It sucks that we got to wait almost about a year, but there's some really cool stuff in the interim. So it's not like, oh my gosh, there's nothing until then. But goddamn, it really I love CD and I can't wait to get my hands on this game. But one thing I do find the funniest is that I've never noticed, my biggest takeaway from this article is that I can't believe I've never noticed that CD Projekt Red spells its name with a K. For some reason, I've never noticed the K in Project, or maybe I did at one time and then just stopped noticing it and spelled it the way that I think it should be spelled, just off the top of my head. But I have, for some reason, Project, Projekt, is just, I cannot believe I've never really caught that. And yes, I understand they're Polish, so that could be throwing me off. But I don't know. That was just like a weird recognition when I opened up this article. I'm like, holy crap! Has that always been like that, or am I just really dumb? It's probably the second one. Either way, Cyberpunk 2077 is first and foremost a role-playing game, and you can't have an RPG without skills, stats, and specializations, right? Quest director that guy emphasized the importance of those attributes and the way players shape them throughout the game. I mean, no offense to the quest director, but I am not even going to take a swipe at that. In a new video update in which he also touched on the importance of, quote, life paths chosen by players. Quote, We have a big variety of different skills that players can modify as they develop their character throughout the game, and in turn, they can use these skills to discover different paths through the levels, to discover different options and quests, he said. Let's see here. How are your character's life path? Yeah, I mean the life paths, I believe that's those are those things that you see in the character creation. It's basically the character's backstory, kind of shapes things, along with a lot of other stuff. I think it's interesting that they're not going with a class system in this game, like the actual RPG. You know, like they're not going with a, you can either be a netrunner, a solo, a rocker boy. Those are the three that I know off the top of my head, but. I'm surprised that we aren't going to see that we aren't going to it's going to be more free form, which you can design a class. Like I'm assuming if you want to be a netrunner, you can be, but you boost your intelligence more than other different aspects of your skills and whatnot. I don't know. I prefer class systems. I generally do in role playing games. But I don't know. Who knows? I mean, maybe they'll find a way to make it work. I mean, especially after what they've done with the Witcher franchise, I cannot complain with how CD Projekt Red wants to develop their games. But no, I'm really curious to see how much. I'm trying to think how to explain this. When I first saw that this was going to be an FPS, I was really not worried, but I was really interested to see how the hell this is going to work. And I mean, if the gameplay is what we've seen. Oh my god, it's going to be awesome. I absolutely love the gameplay that we've seen, and like I said, even though it's weird to me playing RPGs in first person, I think this game could really kill it. I really do. I'm really curious to see how it fuses those RPG mechanics with first person shooting. There we go. That's what I was trying to get at. Because I don't think a lot of games do it that well. I think a lot of games are either RPGs or shooters. Looking at you, Fallout. And if you want to know what the hell I'm talking about, Fallout 3 was more of an RPG than a shooter. Shooting in that game was god-awful. I'm going to be entirely honest. I still think that. I thought New Vegas was the best fusion of the two. And then Fallout 4 was way more shooter than it was RPG. I really, really think CD Projekt here can really hit that sweet spot in the middle. That Fallout New Vegas area. Let's see here. Where the hell was I? Quotes, on top of that, we also have this thing called the life paths, which are the origins of our characters that we choose at the beginning of the game, and we create the character. So, for example, you might imagine that if you're a street kid, you'll have an easier time talking to different gangs. Or if you're a corporate, you might have an advantage over people from the corporation since you know how they think and how they operate, end quote. CD Projekt Red said in a follow-up tweet that there will be 3 life paths to choose from: Street Kid, Corpo, and Nomad, which should significantly enhance Cyberpunk 2077's replayability. He said in an interview with US Gamer in June that players will have to play through the game at least 3 times in order to fully experience each life path. I mean, I'm hoping that they're going to do something more than what BioWare did with Mass Effect. With Mass Effect, you could choose, like what the backstory of Shepard was. But really, other than a few small side quests, it never really in some dialogue differences. It never really played a difference. So I'm really kind of curious, like how much like malleability we're going to get with these backstories. Like if we be a street, if we're a street kid. Before really I get into making an example, I also remember from character customization from, I can't remember where I saw this, but like you also like pick your characters, like what their dreams as a kid was or who their heroes were, and it kind of helps shape your skills and everything around the kind of people that you like, the kind of characters that you like. So I mean, so even then it seems like just because you were playing a street kid, every street kid's not going to be the exact same. I really, really think there's going to be some malleability in here that I think is really going to work out for them. I said I think a lot too many times in those sentences, didn't I? Oh, well. Again, the guy also offered reassurances to a follower who said he's slightly worried about the change in the game's description on Twitter from, quote, the role-playing game of the dark future, end quote, to, quote, an open-world action-adventure story, end quote. See, slightly worried about this. Our game is still first and foremost an RPG. Oh, no, I think what he's trying to get at is I think he's comparing it to like The Witcher, like The Witcher 3. You know, The Witcher 3 is still first and foremost an RPG, but it is a great, if you want to play it more like an action-adventure game, oh, it's a great action-adventure game, too. But it's an action-adventure RPG. I think that's the best way to put it. So, yeah, just there's another short article, but again, any excuses I have to talk Cyberpunk. So, all right, that was the last article we have for you guys today. I still got a video that I will get set up right now. Alright guys, for our little final bit here, I've really not seen a lot of gameplay for the new Call of Duty. I mean, I've seen a few trailers, a few chunks here or there, but I mean, I've been interested in this new one, but you know, it was more one of those that I'm not going to get super excited. I'll play it when it comes out and see how it is. But I've been hearing some interesting things about this new gunfight multiplayer mode. It looks like it's going to be a 2-on-2. I think it was described as like a cage match style sort of multiplayer mode. I don't know. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of take a look. So here's about 5 minutes of it, 5-6 minutes of it. I heard it's really fast paced. I hear it's really interesting. So let's see. Why are we getting no sound? Oh, no, it's just really quiet. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it really is a cage. Okay, so basically it looks like it's in like a small, a small, paintball area. Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, my cat and dog are both in the same room, and they're fighting each other. Oh, that's... Okay, this is an interesting... Interesting game mode. Yeah, because you can see up top, you see, See, I'm curious. Do you start with the with random weapons? Yeah, I'm gonna guess that you start with random weapons. Oh, that's interesting. But I'm sorry. I'll kind of like let you into my brain here from what I'm talking about when I'm saying like this is interesting because I'm gonna guess each time the stage like this, like they won the round. So yeah, then you get loaded up with new equipment. It's random. Because it seems as though both sides have the same weapons, and it seems like they always have it on. Yeah, because it says small team conflict. I don't know. Yeah, because it keeps saying new loadout. So yeah, I'm thinking that your weapons are randomized each time you load it. I don't know. I think that's an interesting way to do this game mode. And I like how it's really small and really fast paced. I could really see where this would be a lot of fun. Sorry. Again, children are fighting. I love my cat and my dog. They're both crazy. Yeah, I mean it's not saying not talking about if the loadouts are, like I said, swapping every individual round, but that's that's what it looks like to me. Oh god, I saw that happen. I thought that knife throw actually got a kill. It was totally on accident. Yeah, which Call of Duty game was it that you had the tomahawk as a like it was a throwing weapon? I can't remember which Call of Duty it was. Because I played online with a buddy of mine, like way back. Like I'm talking, like me and him were sitting, playing split screen, playing online with other people. That was like my go-to weapon. Like, he kept looking at me going, like, how the fuck are you getting kills with that thing? And I'm just like, fuck if I know. But it seemed like I was actually more accurate with the tomahawk than I was with you get away your position, dude. It seemed like I was more accurate with a tomahawk than I was with my actual rifle. Excuse me. But no, I can definitely see where this would be a really fun game mode for friends to play, just... I mean, hell, I could actually see where this would really take over, I mean, not take over, but, this would actually get popular in, like, Call of Duty esports. I mean, granted, I'm not super big into Call of Duty esports, but, no, I mean, that was really interesting. God, PewDiePie, go away. No, really interesting game mode. I like the idea. I like the structures of the maps and everything. When they say cage match, I mean cage match. I mean that's a neat idea. Yeah. Either way, there we go. Sorry if this week's show seemed a little on the light side. It's just I really didn't see a whole hell of a lot of big, interesting news, but, there are weeks like that. So, either way, guys, that was the show this week. I'm going to take a small break after editing all this, probably grab a bite to eat, then hop into, you know what? I don't know what game, but I'm going to do some recording. So, until then, I want to say, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned more next time. As I said, I believe I said at the beginning of the show, I am playing Fire Emblem Three Houses and Wolfenstein Youngblood at the end of the week, so stay tuned for that. And other than that, thank you for watching, and until next time, my name's AJ Gels. This is Something Game Channel. I'm out.